It is true that I like making my patterns myself, the way I like them, but the other day I was having a look at my grandma's Burdas and I thought I would have a go at them because I haven't for a while. And I chose the oldest one I have, which is from August 1976. It's quite old. The magazine is all in German, and then it has a supplement, it has an extra bit in Spanish in this case. So I went ahead and chose the most summery one, which was really difficult because everything was long sleeve, and I live in Tenerife and I don't want long sleeve in July or June or August. So after looking for a while, I ended up choosing the pinafore. It is in a velvet, but I'm going to make it in cotton, and I chose it because it's the closest thing to something sleeveless. And it took me a while as well to find it in the instructions book because it's organized in a different way, but anyways. So there we go, it's in a size 38. That's another problem. I'm a 36, UK 8, at least in the bust area, so it's going to be a bit wide, but it's not a problem. I'll wait until I have it, until I can try it on, and then I'll decide if on the side seams I can take it in a little bit or not. Another thing it took me a while to find was the letter, the sheet I had to use, and I couldn't find it, and it is here in big. Now look, my grandma's handwriting. And here we go, first problem. The facings are marked. I can see them, so... And the pocket, where's the pocket? And where are my glasses? Okay, let's not panic, let's not panic. The pocket and the facings are marked inside their own patterns. Okay, that's okay then, good. You have to cut, apart from this, you have to cut the straps yourself, 10 centimeters wide by 55 long. So I have my patterns cut. The instructions say that you have to cut it with your fabric folded, so everything is in halves. There's the skirt and there's the front and back bodice. I don't know where the zipper goes, and that confuses me a lot because it tells you need zipper and you need buttons. Buttons in the front, but where does the zipper go? Doesn't tell. There are some marks here, maybe it's for that, but it's not in the middle because this is the back panel. No. Ah no, that's for the straps. Okay, that's for the straps. The zipper is still missing. I guess it goes on the side. I have a very bright flowery cotton, really beautiful and summery, and because I have more material, I'm going to try to match the pattern to see how it goes. It's going to be difficult because I can only see petals and flowers, but let's try. And the best way to do that is to cut one first panel and then the second one. And I'm going to take into account that there is a folding line, I think, for the buttonholes, so I'm going to fold that and then copy it. And if I'm not lucky, I can still do it again, I think. Instructions. First I have to iron interfacing and then sew together the darts and sew the skirt to the bodice And it doesn't say anything about the pockets, not even once. So I'm going to sew the pockets to each side to their panels and leave it open until I have the bodice sewn, and then the darts as well. And I'm going to be sewing in purple because I think it's going to give it a nice touch. Some of the flowers are purple, so let's go for it. While I was doing this, I realized that I needed to be efficient, and to do so, I needed to have more stuff to iron at the same time. So I went ahead and did the straps. The straps are quite easy to sew because you just put them right sides together and then you turn them inside out. And for this, I have a little stick and it works really well. I also did the interfacing on the facings at this time. And to sew the skirt together, I put it right sides together and followed the pocket shape to put it together. And it's quite easy, but I took into account as well where the zipper was going to be and how not to sew that bit. And talking about efficiency, I went ahead and gathered the skirt by sewing 2 rows of stitches and then pulling from one of them. And now with the top, the thing about the top is that the straps go in between the facing and the bodice, which is logical, but I think the straps are way too long. 55 centimeters I think is really long for me. I don't think I need that much. So I'm going to sew the front and then I measure when I sew the back. And one thing is that the top, the bodice has 4 buttons in the front. So that bit of the buttons, I don't know how to do it because it doesn't say how to do the top, so the corner is nicely done. So what I'm going to do is to fold it on the outside, so then I can sew it with the facing, and when I put it right sides out, the corner is clean, like when we do the zippers. Let's see how that does. I have no idea what I'm doing. If you happen to have this magazine, Burda August 1976, let me know that in the comments, even more if you've sewn this pattern, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sure I'm doing a lot wrong. And if you're liking my suffering, don't forget to give it a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. It will make me really happy. It helps the channel a lot, and that way you don't miss anything because I upload a video once a week. Last night I was going around the pattern because I couldn't understand it, and I even considered it, instead of doing whole pieces of garments, to do it by panels, front and back panel. I mean, instead of sewing the skirt, the bodice with the facings, I was considering to sew facing bodice and skirt of the front panel and facing bodice and skirt of the back panel. Is that possible? Can you do that? Let me know that in the comments. But in the end, this morning when I read them again, I realized that I couldn't do that because of the strap. The strap goes in between the facing and the bodice, and if I want to do it by panels, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I think maybe for another occasion, let me know if it's possible, maybe. Facings are sewn right sides together, but in this case we have the straps in between. So you have to lift them not up like they will go, but down, going down. So then when you pull them up, the facing goes in and they are all sewn perfectly. And on the back side, it's a bit of a juggle because you have to be careful. This is how I'm doing. Once I had all the tops on, I went ahead and sewed the right side because I wanted to try it on, and it was indeed a bit wide, of course, a bit loose, because it's a 38 instead of a 36. So I took in almost 3 centimeters. And one thing is the understitch for the facing. I haven't done that because I'm not sure how it's going to fit. So once I have the zipper done and the skirt, I'll do that. Of course, I'm doing it by intuition. I'm following my guts because this is so small. Of course, if they were going to explain to you everything, it would be a book for every pattern. So I mean, it's missing information, isn't it? So now I'm going to add the skirt and then the zipper. Sewing the skirt to the bodice has no difficulty from one end to the other, and I'm going to do it right in between the 2 lines of stitches I just did to gather it, so it's centered and nicely gathered. Although I think it's not very puffy, it's very straight skirt. And now that I'm going to sew the skirt, I'm also going to hem it right now. I'm going to take it up 3 centimeters and I'm going to use the iron for that because it gives it a really sharp edge. And now with the zipper. For the zipper, what I'm going to do is to place it on top of the open it and then twist it, turn it so the dents are outside, on the outside of the garment, and that way with the zipper foot it will be really good. And now that everything's finished and I know I don't have to move or change anything, I did do the understitching on the facings so they don't move. And I always do it with a zigzag stitch because sometimes the layers of material, you don't get them all, you don't sew them all together when you're doing it. So that way I make sure everything is on. And to finish it, I have the buttons left, which I still don't get because if you didn't have the zipper, you wouldn't be able to put it on and off because you have the skirt sewn right there. So I don't get the buttons, and because I don't get them, for me it's just an ornament. So I'm going to sew them, all the material from back to front, and I'm not going to do buttonholes because it's useless buttons, isn't it? So I'll be sewing them in the same purple, and I can't use the sewing machine for this because I'm missing the bit that goes on the machine to allow you to sew the buttons, so the fabric doesn't walk away of you. So I'm going to do it by hand. And this is the final result. I'm really pleased with it. I really like it. I love the material, of course. It was cheap cotton I got for €4 a meter. So for only 8, there's the dress made. I really like the buttons, even though it's pretend buttons. I didn't make them properly because I don't think there's any need if you have a zipper, which I don't know if I put in the right place because the pattern didn't say. It's not in the drawings, it's not in the explanation, so I don't know. The pockets are quite useful, of course, and I love the 70s vibe of it, and the length is quite comfortable, and it's not a circle skirt, so it's quite close to your skin, which is nice as well. It's not tight, but it's nice. So let me know down in the comments what you think, if you've liked my suffering with all these Burda instructions. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and give it a like if you enjoyed it. And I leave you another 2 videos from here, another Burda videos, so you can have a look. Bye!